it's free. Just come get it. It's for anybody and everybody. And that was one of the biggest things is anybody and everybody. All I require is hungry bellies, right? That's my main focus was a hungry belly walks through the door, a hungry belly gets fed. Okay. So back in February 2021, me and Julie decided, said, okay, well, you like to do this kind of stuff. I do like to do kind of this kind of stuff. So we both done work in our own communities before we met. So we had about 50, 60 people come through or something like that. I think we had about 70 French fries and 50 bowls of soup went out that very first day. I was just new to it. And then I had the second week when then we had more fries and more soup. And then the third week, we finally got some donations in, so I got to do Indian tacos. I was so excited over that. So we had like 300 Indian tacos. And I was just like, oh, wow, 300 tacos, that's pretty cool. And I was like, so me and Julie had the last 2 tacos. And then it was like right 8 o'clock, someone walks in. And they're like, is there any tacos left? And it just so happened to be 2 people. So we gave our tacos. No, and we didn't even get a taco on our very first taco giveaway. We ended up getting over 400 turkey dinners. No, it was over 500 turkey dinners. It was over 400 roast beef dinners, but we had turkey, so we added that. So it was so it was 400 roast beef and about 100 turkey dinners on separate occasions. And then I had someone donated fish pickerel, so I did a big pickerel dinner. We had over about 300 pickerel dinners that went out, and it was just like there was times where I was making fry bread. I was making fry bread from like 7 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. Like I was making like 900 pieces of fry bread. And I had more volunteers come out and then it started growing. And then more people in the community were like, wow, no way, it's free? It's free? Really? Yeah, it's free. Just come get it. It's for anybody and everybody. And that was one of the biggest things is anybody and everybody. You don't have to show your status card. You don't have to justify how many you need. You don't have to say like, well, I'm from, it doesn't matter. I said, whoever walks through that door, I don't care where you live. I don't care what you look like. Nothing. It's just, if all I require is hungry bellies, right? That's my main focus was a hungry belly walks through the door, a hungry belly gets fed. That's it. Then it's like, my daughters are the ones that got a bucket of toys and brought it up and said, Dad, before you go up, can you take this up there? Maybe there's some kids that don't have any toys. We can give them some of our toys. Like, oh, that's cool. So put a little sign up, put it on a table, on a chair, and then, people were going through it. And then all of a sudden, that's where the clothing thing started. And someone brought a bag of shirts, and I put those out. And I was like, oh, then it's just snowballing, like all these clothes coming in bags and bags of clothes. It's just a learning curve. Every single time something comes up new, it's a learning curve. And it's like, I never knew what I was getting into, that it was gonna blow up this big, this fast. So everything's going good. So my main goal was to feed people a home-cooked meal. So a home-cooked meal to me, I thought, a healthy home-cooked meal, I thought was like a fish and chips. Then June comes, right, last year, and that's when I hit the health scare, right? So I had a ruptured appendix, fought it off for a couple days, ended up in the hospital on the Monday, and they said it was a simple procedure, right? So the simple procedure turned into a major surgery. So when they went in and checked it out, there was a mass tumor the size of my fist attached to my appendix and my intestine on the outside. So they had to cut it, remove it. My CAT scan was clean, everything, so I had to wait 2 weeks. In that time, my friend of mine came in, she bought me a tablet, and I was using the Wi-Fi in the hospital. And then so what goes through some people's heads, I don't know what went through my head, was I thought of my family. I was thought of my leaving 3 daughters fatherless. Could have, right? So long story short, I was studying the videos I used to watch, Forks Over Knives, The Game Changer, What the Health, and they all focus on the whole food plant-based movement. So then when that came about, I called Julia. I told her to eliminate everything out of the fridge. I said, we're going whole foods. So now I don't serve anything out of that kitchen that's not whole food, right? So we got the smoothies, vegetable soups, bean and rice wraps, but there's no meat products, no animal products, nothing. The food bank's a little different because it's all donations. Right. So you got to learn, not to say no. And then when, I think it was one of my volunteers, Lisa, and she contacted Jeremy, and then come out and we did that community garden, right? And so that was a big, like I could say like a game changer too, right? Because we wanted to see how much yield came off, and a lot of stuff came off of there even with no maintenance. Just thinking we maintained it properly, how much more we would have got off, or plus controlled. My main goal now is I'm trying to push for self-sustainability, like through food, um, and then talk about self-sustainability and food sovereignty, right?
Yes.
And it's like we can do it, but on this side it's just a microgrid, like see what I can get out of here, and then if we do it a larger scale somewhere else, that would be great. Like have like a greenhouse plus your outdoor gardens, then you got all the stuff that's in the building, and then plus teach people. I have workshops where they can teach people to grow for themselves. Like it doesn't have to be one isolated area. Here's the tools, here's the links, here's the websites, here's how you can start your own garden. Even it's a 10 by 10, you do one row of each little thing, and it doesn't have to be everything. You just what's your favorite fruit or your vegetable. So like me, it's kale now. I'll just sit there and eat there and eat kale right out of my garden. It's amazing. So those are the main things of what it started at to what it's grown into, right? And it's like I probably wouldn't have grown into more of this other stuff if it wasn't for the surgery to change my views of what's healthy. Mother Earth give us everything to survive. You got a family tree. Well, I created a whole new family tree when I started this. So now, as this tree grows, and then the branches grow out, and it's to everybody who's contributed or helped, and it just keeps growing, right? There's all different ways to donate or help, and it's not always through money. Mine is it's even volunteering. People that come out and volunteer, like to help go through the clothes or stuff like that, and it's people to help volunteer when Marilyn does her thing and she's sorting stuff, like through the food bank, because usually I have a volunteer at the food bank, and then I got a volunteer at the clothing. I got some new volunteers that showed up on Sunday, so we on Sundays we can make all the salads, dice up everything, and we prep everything for Sunday, for Monday. If it's through a donation, like through the e-transfer to where we buy what we need, or if it's if they have weight equipment that they're not using no more, that they would willing to donate. It's because or if it's material for me to build my building a little bigger, to build an extension, right? Or if it's like we got to finish that floor over here, and I got the 2x6s, but I need plywood, right? Because these are all it's just a subfloor, right? So I got to build another subfloor on that side and build that up, right? And then so that's why we're doing a fundraiser outside right now, because I got to get my water line put in. I got to get a hot water heater put in here for this winter. I'm not going to struggle with freezing lines and all this other stuff this year. So it's like putting in a hot water heater, if somebody want to donate a hot water heater, or if it's donating like fresh produce. So there's all different ways to help. It's like people, all they have to do is contact me or Julia, let them know, and then basically by a conversation you find out where you can help. It's like you can either come out and help, or if it's like through whatever, or donations or whatever, or even people finding other companies to donate. Like say if it was say if it was a lumberyard, donate a bunch of plywood or whatever material, and give me a bunch of wood, I'll make something. I'll make some kind of extension. A web page would help, right? Saying go to the link, this is how you can help, and if that doesn't clarify, call me, and also do is, or they just tell people just you can come out. What I like doing is, if people want to find out, is the best way is to come here and get a tour. That's how you find out the best way to help, because in that way you get that one-on-one, you get that experience, how I can explain to whoever wants to learn more of how to do it and stuff like that. So now when we got the clothing, we got the food, and we get a lot of calls from people that need help. They're like, say if they got out of a situation, they had to leave the home of emergency, kids got no clothes or nothing like that, we'll try to help them as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people need food, but we don't have no food because Mondays come, it's gone. So like it's like everything that you see in there is gonna be like 90% gone by the end of the day. I said, but if you want a healthy meal once a week, someone's gonna get healthy food, and that's gonna help them. And like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then plus they get to go through the food bank. So now we got the food bank, clothing bank, so, the food, the meal, and then there's the gardens and stuff like that. There's gonna be weight room, and so it's
That's
a lot. Like my thing is that I look at our ancestors who moved here 200 years ago when we settled here. Everybody helped each other, right? So I'd help you with your garden, you'd help me with mine. We'd help Jeremy build his house, right? If someone's doing something, or we work the ground, and everybody kind of worked together back then. We were a self-sustainable community. I look at our community as that in hopes that one day we can go back to working together and look at our ancestors and restore food sovereignty and security through and sustainability with our language, our culture, and food.